Okay, so I've decided to record audio journals for a few reasons. First, I realize how deep my need is to vocally process. And it can be really difficult when you are a content creator, which I don't necessarily consider myself, but a business owner, or, for me, I've just had I've had an online presence for like 9 years where I've really been putting myself out there, sharing sometimes my literal art, like paintings and everything from my business goals and um, details about my life, things that I'm moving through, and self expression, political opinions, pictures of myself. I think that, and again, I'm not like, ooh, I have 1 million followers and I'm just like a famous internet celebrity. But I think, even to the smallest degree, when you have that level of public vulnerability, um, even if, like, regardless of audience size, it kind of starts to shape the way that you create content. Because, or the way you even like express yourself, because the mind frame and the context that you're usually bringing to creativity has to be in a curated format to fit into the social media algorithms, right? So having, like, and that's why, I personally love Substack, because of its unstructured, more keyword driven algorithm. Um, but you can really lose yourself in that if you don't have a strong connection to your own creativity, and if you don't notice that pattern of only creating in the context of, is this on my messaging, is this on brand for me, am I using the right colors, the right words, is this conveying all of the nuances I want to convey? When you start to put your raw creative energy through those filters, it it changes the dynamic that you have with your creative energy. And I think the perfect example of that is always having this audience in mind of who you're creating for. And it's almost this like backwards compatible, reverse engineer your content based off of who you're making it for, right? Who are you making the video for? Who are you making the post for? Who are you creating for? For those of us that have businesses, most of the time we're finding that, if you're successful, it's probably a good chance that the people that you're creating content for on the internet are the people that are paying you, are your customers. And if you have a brand account where you have brand deals and you're doing unboxing videos, you have a completely different audience, a completely different vibe or persona to essentially push. And I think that this is where we see this like like influencer brain rot, and these kind of like devoid robotic like content creation machine androids that will just do anything for views, will do anything for likes, will do anything to get the view, right? Like that kid streamer that crashed his McLaren and his friend is like, suffering from an injury from the accident, and he starts live streaming it. It's just like nothing is sacred in their lives. Nothing is private. It is all, essentially you're whoring yourself out for content. And there's a lot of problems with that, right? There's the privacy problems. There's, always feeling scrutinized, always feeling criticized. There's like boundaries. Like, do you have boundaries with what you do and do not share, and what you do and do not talk about? Because at the end of the day, you're being perceived by people, and a lot of people don't think that energy transfer is real. They also don't see cell phones or telecommunication devices as spiritual devices. So I think that there's this idea that our phones don't transfer energy to us, or that there's no way a spirit could electronically contact us and like enter our field, essentially, right? But I think more than anything, they are portals for that type of influence. And when you're being viewed and having a certain energy hurled towards you and you're not prepared for it, that's where like there are repercussions for that, right? Whether that's physical, that's up for debate, but even how you view yourself, always needing to feel perfect, like these kind of like structures you put up that like end up really killing you from the inside because you don't feel like yourself. There's that disconnect between your authentic self and who you actually are and who you actually want to be, right? The public can create like its own separate meme of you, and there's a lot of energy that is paid when we are focusing on social media. When you're scrolling, you're giving a little piece of the pie away every day. If you believe you have finite energy, I think a lot of people think they have infinite energy. That's just every single day on a 24-hour cycle, it's just going to regenerate. And so people don't spend their energy wisely. And your energy and how much energy you're expending should supersede, in your mental decision making, should supersede the amount of time you're spending doing a task. Different tasks have different mental loads and different energy outputs, right? This is a total side rant here, but that's why it bothers me when I see like the bro marketing content, more specifically women perpetuating bro marketing content, where it's like, if you make over this amount of money, you shouldn't be scrubbing your own toilet, you shouldn't be cooking your own meals, you shouldn't be doing anything except focusing your time and energy on growing your business because your time is valuable and you've increased the value of your time. And I think like, yeah, sometimes that's true, right? Maybe in your business, you shouldn't be doing a $12 an hour task because you can make a couple hundred an hour, right? So true. But also frying yourself an egg and doing a load of laundry doesn't have the same mental load as making a couple $100s an hour. My work is hard. It's mentally taxing. It can be stressful, especially because, we're dealing with people and their taxes and their business. It's like serious business, right? And I'm fully aware that me dedicating myself to working more and more hours wouldn't have the same energetic return, right? Like the second 20 hours a week I'm working in my business is way less effective and way less efficient than the first 20 hours. I guarantee you that. right? So, anyways, when you're spending your energy dividing it up and giving all of these different people your attention, you are literally transferring energy to them. And the nature of your thoughts transfers to them and they receive it to a certain degree, unless they are like so spiritually protected, unless they are so like boundaried the F up. People receive energy from people that view them, right? That's the that's the very essence of an energetic transaction. It's the very essence of it, is you giving them attention, whether for the way they look, the things they say, how they're presenting themselves. So you also have to see yourself as the receiver of that attention. So all of that, right? That's a long sidetrack here, but all of that are totally valid reasons to kind of like segment and fragment your personality online so that you have like boxes and compartments for different creations that you're bringing forth, right? But all of that doesn't even compare to the diminishment of the creative channel that you just shut down. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like we are not in the kind of times where we're in the business of shutting down our creative channels. We're not like here to do that. This isn't like the 1600s, right? We are in the process of opening them up. So, you know, in that sense, the algorithms are stealing your soul and they're making you just like perform like a jester, right? You're the court jester for these algorithms, all to procure enough financial resources that you are comfortable. Wow. To the degree in which you are not prostituting yourself out on the internet, that's like a pretty fine line between like owning your business and having like self-liberation and all of that, owning your labor, you know, fulfilling your divine mission, whatever reason you're in business for yourself. There's a really fine line between that and selling your soul. You know what I mean? What lengths will you take to further the mission of the company? And probably like going off the rails here, but I have just seen so much of this like really weird women CEO mindset that has like the texture of it is just like walking by my dream house right now. So got a little distracted there, but anyways, this kind of weirdo CEO, female CEO mindset that's like has this texture of like being really condescending and really like you can just tell that the business is just like so sterilized to the point that like they are just like bursting at the seams to just want to post like a hot selfie so bad. Like they want to just like eat a cheeseburger and fries and ranch and drink a Diet Coke and then like split two shots of tequila, like so fucking bad. Like they're just like their eyes are twitching for it, you know? And like it's like that is the opposite of what we like. That is the opposite of the revolution, my sister. Like my sister in Christ, like you are part of the problem right now. And I think, you know, I'm not blaming women, and believe me, I'm the last thing from, well, I don't even want to say that. I believe in women's liberation, and especially our societal liberation. And it's so clear to me that there's so much deconditioning that needs to be done. And I think, looking to my own journey, part of the reason I maybe didn't have as much to decondition from is because I kind of realized all of this was bullshit when I was like 17 years old. And I was kind of like, oh, none of this really matters, so I might as well like have a good time while I'm doing it. And like at the end of the day, no one can say that like I didn't have fun along the way. Like that has to be part of it for me. Not only probably because I'm too lazy to do it the other way. I can't handle the inner discord, and for the brief moments in my life that I've been, made to taste that, and really feel that sensation, it has been almost unbearable, physically unbearable. It feels like it's itching from the inside out. It feels like there's a pressure cooker, and one day the lid's just gonna like fly off, and it's gonna like spill the green beans all over the kitchen. Like there's at any moment. So I think part of that deconditioning is like, oh, women have been sold such a fucking lie about everything, all to like fall under this just like social, oh god, how do I even want to say it? It's like this like, bastardization of our feminine energy to like nurture the like infantile consciousness, like as if it's just our inherent duty to like heal the fucking world. Mostly through the desires and wishes of patriarchal men. And I'm sorry, but like every day I live my life is just in direct opposition to that. And I will not be subjugated for this like patriarchal system anymore. So when you are shutting down your creative channels, to perform for a fucking algorithm, a fucking man-made algorithm, like your earth mother, like she sheds a tear and one of her little wings breaks off, and you just like stole the future from your generations. Because that is so not the fucking point of what we're here to do. And I have a lot of thoughts on I think this all the time. Well, if I would have followed X, Y, and Z template of success, including algorithmic success, right? Including curating my raw vocal expression more thoughtfully and more consistently, thus bucking up against my natural energy, thus bucking up against my own feminine nature, would I be more financially successful than I am today? Maybe, but also like, maybe not. Like maybe it would have actually been worse and I would have made less money because I was doing something that inherently didn't feel aligned to me, thus cutting off my money channel, right? If you're lucky, if you're blessed, your creative channel is on fire. And when you marry that with your money channel, and you basically say, you code it, right? Or the witches out there, like, do a ritual around it, like, code that shit where you make money a creative activity. Making money gets to be a creative activity for you. But it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be the thing that you sell out. You don't have to connect those pipes, right? The money channel and the creativity channel can exist simultaneously, and they can wrap around each other, and they can just have a symbiotic relationship, but they don't need to be the same channel. And not all of your creations have to be public. That's another topic on this, right? When you have this influencer creator brain rot and you have to just perform like a court jester for the algorithms. But when is the last time that you created for the hell of it and you created for the pure joy of creation, not for public consumption? So painters, when's the last time you painted something without the idea that you were going to post that on the internet later? I mean, I think this about vacation stuff all the time. Like, when's the last time someone actually planned a vacation without, when's the last time someone went on a vacation without posting a picture about it? Probably like 2012. Yeah, no, you probably thought that was a rhetorical question, but it wasn't. Like, I really want to know, when is the last time a vacation was took? When is the last time you did anything travel related and you didn't post content about it? You're telling me you're taking private vacations and not trying to flex for the gram? Why? So not all your creations need to be public. Create in private and integrate. There's going to be some things where you want to share them in public after you've created them. Like, okay, if you're a business owner, then, or if you're a coach or a healer, if you sell digital products, you'll probably relate to this in some sort. Or if you run your business online, you'll relate to this in some sort. Just probably everyone listening to this, because let's be honest, I haven't made a real life friend in like 5 years. So so when's the last time you had an idea and you're like, "Ooh, I'm going to move on this right now." You get an idea to sell something, or like, I don't know, kind of like a download comes through. You're like, "This is a good idea. I'm going to move with it." And you realize later on you moved with it a little too quickly. Like, you didn't let the idea sit and marinate enough. And now your carne asada is dry as fuck. So when is the last time that's happened to you? Because that is a great indicator of where your creative channel and your money channel are like too correlated. You need to start separating that shit a little bit more. And that folds into the next point, which is, not everything, like, what you do for money isn't who you are. And your soul calling and the people that you're really here to serve is probably going to look really different than what your ego is telling you it's going to be. So you have two choices at that point. You can either stay on your high horse and buck up against life's natural provisions and the universe's natural provisions and deny the opportunities that are in front of you because it doesn't fit into what your ego wants it to look like, or grateful for the abundance and realize that this is always going to evolve. And actually, what's happening right now, what is happening right now in this moment, isn't going to prevent any future blessings from coming in. And I think that this is also something the internalized misogyny, female CEOs, women, hashtag women supporting women, I think that's what that's the false like dichotomy, is that the right word for it? The false dichotomy that's presented is, if you don't have these rigid goals and success definitions written out, and you don't say no to every opportunity that isn't 100% aligned, which really that just means aligned with your ego, right? When someone's like, oh, it wasn't aligned. Okay, I get that. That's like to me, that's a social nicety. That's, you don't want to say the vibes were fucked. That's, you had like a horrible gut feeling and you wanted to listen to it, right? So instead you just said it wasn't aligned. Could mean the same thing, right? Maybe it means it wasn't aligned in your body and you just left out the last part of that, right? But anyways, the female CEOs will tell you, if you're not saying no to every imperfect opportunity, the perfect one is never going to come along. It's this like, keep holding out for the one big thing and like keep holding out for like 1000% excellence on everything. And, you know, meanwhile, there's probably whole areas of that woman's life that are in complete shambles. And so it's like this projected perfectionism onto the other areas of life, because there's like this one area that's been like so crushingly stifled or like stagnant for years. And you know, I could be talking about myself here. Like, I'm not saying that I have never experienced something like that, right? But this like all or nothing kind of mentality, I think, feeds into what people like, which is the tickle in their brain that they get from the dopamine from the stress. So it's what people like, it's what people want to hear. But I think for most people, if they do end up finding success under that model, then they're going to be deeply, deeply unhappy about it. And that's just for the people that could actually make that work. For the other 95% of the population, you'll look back and realize you could have let it be way easier than how it is now. Everything you wanted could have shown up way easier if you got your own mental limitations out of it. Mental limitations that were placed there by someone with a really abrasive, pervasive, overly dominating energy. And that's really what it is like the energy of domination, the energy of like, I am the ultimate authority. And people that have yet to awaken their inner authority are attracted to that quality, which is why it works as a business strategy too, right? So I guess in that way they are doing business right, because they're doing more things that work and less things that don't work. They figured out what worked and then they kept doing it. But again, it comes back to the whole, is this business decision crushing your soul? You know, I don't know. I just think I'm in a phase of my life where I've been in probably the most creative 4 months of my life after year 2020. I think 2020 up to like April of 2021 was really like my last real creative surge. And everything else has just kind of been like microbursts. Um, so I feel like in a way I'm like coming back into that part of myself again where I'm like, wait, I make way more money when I'm self-expressed. I make way more money when I'm like channeling my fucking work that I know I'm here to do. And it doesn't have to always be for financial profit. It doesn't have to always be for my business. Although a lot of times the unexpected benefit of like decentering your business in your creativity. Ooh, that would be a good sub caption for this. Decentering your business in your creative channel. Will anyone fucking understand what I'm trying to say when I say that though? I think an unexpected benefit of that is as soon as you start creating just for the hell of it for yourself, for your own creative benefit, you suddenly start like having way more business ideas. You suddenly start calling in like all of the manifestations that have been on the hold for the last 6 months while you got your shit together. They've all been brewing up. And if it feels like nothing's moving, you have to change what you're doing. You have to be the wild card, throw a baseball, a curveball, not a baseball, throw a curveball to the universe and like watch how it kind of responds to you differently. And this doesn't even necessarily need to be like generative. It doesn't need to be, let me sit down and really think about this and like come up with what my goals are and what my dreams are and what I want it to look like and all of that. And what I want to create. And instead you have a download. Instead you actually receive the idea rather than trying to generate it. How would your whole life change if you weren't constantly in this generative materialization? And like, you know, to energetically reconcile, because I can already hear some people listening to this now going, well, yeah, but then nothing would get done. If I wasn't the one generating it, I wouldn't have control over it. I wouldn't be able to control when it shows up. This way I have control. When I'm generating my 5-year plan, I have control. And sure, you can maintain that control. But there's going to be a season of life. Maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's not even this year. Maybe it's in 10 years from now. There will be a season of your life where you are asked to release the control and surrender. And I think that the sooner we listen to that nudge and the more in tune we are with these micro seasons of our life and what our body and our spirit and our mind need from day to day, week to week, month to month, the less you have to have these big awakening moments in your life where like something causes you to stop in your tracks, right? As I was dealing with my own chronic health issues for the last several years, it really became apparent to me how many people, how many online female CEOs actually have like serious health problems that they ignored while they were pushing for their success. Some people that I really admired. And of course that doesn't necessarily take away from, you know, anything. It still proves that they're amazing and completely capable and all of that. But I just could never imagine a life where I was ignoring like my happiness, my physical happiness, mental, emotional, spiritual happiness, and leisure and pleasure for because I wanted to make an extra 50K that month. Even though I already made 50K this month, I have to push to the next 50K and get 100K this month. Because what would it mean for me if I wasn't making $100,000 a month? Whew, that's like some heavy shit. You know, that's really, really sad. And, but at the same time, it's like, well, they can cry about it with their full bank account. Like, you receive something from it at the end of the day. I'm not pitying you by any means, right? Like, you made that choice. But I think we really have to ask ourselves, is that what we're meant to be doing as women? Is that how we're, even for men, is that how we're meant to be embodying the feminine nature by continuing these extractive processes that put the dollar sign, completely irrelevant pieces of paper, above our literal survival? And that's why it's a cult. It's a cult. The money is a cult. Money worship is a cult. And the missionaries, the missionaries are the influencers. So stop letting your creativity be hijacked by these algorithms. Stop making your natural energy wrong. Stop with the paradigm that you have to completely change yourself, everything about yourself. The time you wake up, how you look, how you get ready, whatever your morning routine is. Stop having such a deep denial for who you truly are. Because other people that essentially have a wounded Dom energy have been placed in front of you by a spiritual telecommunications device telling you you have to do it. That sounds like some devil shit, right? I'm not even oh, that's so satanic kind of. That sounds satanic, actually, when you think about it. That sounds like some low magic shit. That's some Jack Parsons shit. That's some Aleister Crowley shit. And you're just going along with it. You're like, okay, if I gotta be the court jester, I'll be the court jester. No, fuck that. You have to want more for yourself. You have to start implanting your own conditions of success. You have to start brainwashing yourself because your mind and your energy is up for grabs. You're placing it on the altar every day that you give time and energy to all this content media, every waking moment of our day, a screen in front of our face. Your brain is up for grabs, and you need to create the propaganda of how you want to brainwash yourself. You have to be the author of that propaganda. You're the author, you're the illustrator, you're the editor, you're the binder, you're binding the book. You're chopping down the trees and making the paper. You're grinding up the bugs and making the ink.